how incredible it is to be born as a Jew. What would be if someone would find out that they're not Jewish? If you found out you're not Jewish, what would you do? Please do not answer the question. I'll just tell you two different answers, and then I'll give you my answer. One answer, I'll quote Rav Noah Weinberg. Rav Noah Weinberg said, if I found out that I wasn't Jewish, I would run to the closest Beis Din and try to convert as quickly as possible. Now, I know for those who grew up in like religious homes, in particular, Modox homes, you're gonna say, first I'd have a cheeseburger, and then I convert, right? Or fill in the blank. I don't even know what to say because you're vegetarian. So why would I? Orla.
The fruit.
Oh. I was like, everyone has what they want to eat. But the point is that first time I would eat orla, I would eat bikurim, I would eat the first fruit. I would go straight into kidneys on Pesach. You know what I mean? I have to wait a whole year to make sure I can have rice on Yom Tov Rishon Pesach, right? And I'd start wearing woolen linen. Give me woolen linen. I need woolen linen. Right? Can I find someone that's not do chalitza? Okay, so you said, it's like, what would we do? So the answer is he'd run as quick as possible to convert to Judaism. Because what are you talking about? You know what it is to be a Jew? How incredible that is? That's amazing. I heard another Rav say, very, very prominent Rav, and I'm not going to say his name because I didn't hear from him. I heard somebody quoting him. But a very prominent Rav that anyone who knows what that lashon means will understand you'll be maskim, who said, I don't know what I would do. That's fair. That's a fair answer. I don't know. Because you have to also realize, it's easy to say, if I were, then this is what I would do. And it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, until you actually end up in that situation. Like I always say, if I was rich, what would I do? The answer is, I am rich. Because he's who I share. But what would I do? You said, you have no idea what you would do. You have no clue what you would actually do. It's very easy to talk what I would do if, and then you scenario. And then someone tells a story. Let me tell you what happened. You go, well, if I was in your case, I'll tell you what I would have done. You have no idea what you would have done, right? So therefore we say, that's what the second rabbi said. First rabbi said, I run immediately to go do it. And the second one said, I don't know. And I believe that the first Rav Noach might actually be maskim to the concept, but still, it's a point that he's saying how he feels at that current moment, that Ashreinu matov chalkeinu. Well, I am, my yafi yushaseinu. What are you talking about? I'm special. I'm unique, and I'm in the inner circle of the Lord Almighty. Of course I'm special. Now that rabbi was just being politically correct, or has an emotional issue with his own Yiddishkeit, with his own Judaism. Because what are you talking? Of course I'm special. Oh, you're offended that I'm special? I'm so sorry that you don't have self-esteem. What does my specialness have to do with you? I'm special. Now if you want, by the way, I'll tell you what. You could be just as special. Just convert. Now, I'm not saying that we go out and do that. And we know we do the opposite. We push people away. Now, what do we mean we push them away? Of course we don't push them away. But we push them away. We don't push them away. We push them away. We do not push them away. How do you know if you push them away or not? If the person ends up converting. The person who ends up converting knows we didn't push you away. We were actually just making sure that you really want this. And those that got pushed away, you pushed yourself away. Because if you really wanted it, you wouldn't have pushed away. Okay, hamevin yavin. Hamevin yavin. Hamevin ma hamevin yavin. Yavin yavin. Mashen yavin. Okay. So now, when you say the question of are we special or not special, we are incredibly special. We are incredibly fortunate. At least I can speak for myself. I am special. And again, yes, my mother did say it and does say it, but that's not even the point. I'm incredibly special. Incredibly fortunate is the word, and unique, and high level, and high security clearance, and top of the top, and the cream of the crop, and you can't even whatever. Oh, you want to join? You can. So what does that mean? A non-Jew doesn't have all those things? The answer is yes. A non-Jew does not have those things. If a non-Jew wants to have those things, they can, but they probably won't really want it. And that goes with the next part that the rabbi did say. That's a responsibility. Don't think that this specialness comes with no costs. Oh, there's a cost. There's a high cost. Because of who I am, because I'm a Ben Melech, because I'm a son of God, Chavivin Yisrael. Every person has a special, unique specialness. Every person. Over what? Over animals. How dare you say that? Animals are the same. No, they're not. Humans are in a higher level than animals. Humans are in a higher, you shouldn't say they're in a high, what do you mean? They're higher. Animals are lower. Humans are above that. And that's all humans. Jews, non-Jews, non-Jews. That's what we say. Chavav Adam sheniver b'tzelem. So, beloved, they're created in the image of God. And again, for the Hamivin Yavins, okay, it's machlokas, but they're not. They lost a tzelem. They didn't lose a tzelem. What can you have it? Can you not have it? Do we really say that? Do we not say that? Fine, weiter. But let's go with the little words of the actual Mishnah. Chavav Adam sheniver b'tzelem. Chaviv in Yisrael. But the Jewish people have an extra level of special. What's that? That they're called banim. They're the children of Hashem. A non-Jew is not called the children. I know there's a lot of non-Jews that think there was a son of God that came back, whatever. But little did he realize we're all the sons of God. Every Christian should be worshiped. I don't mean to do this, by the way. My hands are just like that. But every Christian should be serving every one of us. I am the son of God. When a guy goes, do you serve the son of God? I go, I am the son of God. And my parents were together as well. What an ace. You think yours is a miracle? Mine's a miracle. My parents had me, and yet I'm still a son of God. That's crazy. It's not crazy if a woman, has a relationship with God and has a child. I mean, that would make sense in terms of the relationship. Here, they didn't have a relationship, and I have a relationship. Okay, again, if you didn't get that, it's better not to. But the point is that I'm the child of God. A non-Jew is not the child of, how dare you? Huh? Does it mean that God doesn't like them? No, God loves them. God loves them. He's got that good them, Tov Hashem lakol. V'racham aval kol ma'asav. There's something special about a Jew. Something special there. We are the descendants of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. That's who we are. That's who B'nai Yisrael. That's big stuff. That's big stuff. But it's also terrible. Where is it also terrible? As a rabbi once said, there was once a boy, and this boy, actually more than once, but this particular story, thank you, grazie. I was pretty impressive. I didn't see your hands. I was like, how did you do that? There was, you must be the daughter of God. Okay. There was once a boy, and this kid was coming to, quick and clear. Bam. Okay. And this boy wanted to get into a certain yeshiva. And somebody said, he wanted to go into this school. And they said, do you know who this, someone's like, to the head of the yeshiva, to the Rosh Yeshiva, said, you know who this kid is, right? So who's the kid? This kid is a grandson of Hashem. No. The grandson of the Vilna Gaon. This is a long time ago, the story. Right, but I was saying, not that long ago. That's a good guess. Of Rav Moshe Feinstein. A big tzaddik, a gadol, unbelievable. This is a grandson of Rav Moshe. So the rabbi said, he's a bunch of zeros. That's all he is, a bunch of zeros. What does that mean? He's just a bunch of zeros. How could you say that? What that means is that he's a bunch of zeros now. What do you mean he's a bunch of zeros? He's a bunch of zeros. The question is, where does he put the one? If he puts the one over here, whoo, he's big. Schus avos. You have the merit of those that come before you. And if those that came before you were big, you're going to be big. But if he puts it over here, then it becomes worse than everybody there. Where do we look at and say, oy, that's terrible? Someone who grew up in the slums and acts like they grew up in the slums? Or someone who grew up in the palace and acts like they're in the slums? Someone like in the palace, like, oh, we're the children of God. That's a serious responsibility. It doesn't negate specialty. Oh, it's special. But comes along with that special is responsibility. And now you're representing something. Represent. You're representing. I was hoping I caught that. We're representing the king. We're representing the king. And if you're not representing the king, okay, but you are. And therefore, what you do now has major significance. To the point that many that grew up religious or Jewish, whatever, say, I don't want that responsibility. I never chose that responsibility. Like one of the lines that I've heard more than once from myself, from others, is that they say like, well, I never chose this. Like, I don't even want it. Like, I never chose to be Jewish. Like, why am I even Jewish? Like, why do I have to do all this? You know what the Mishnah said? The Gemara says, against your will you're born, against your will you die. Suck it up and take care of business. But I didn't choose to. I don't care. They're like, oh, you didn't choose? Oh, no. Identify as something else. It doesn't change anything. The reality is you are responsible. So I think that's what the second half that I'm mentioning is what the rabbi was saying. And I agree full-fledged on. It's a responsibility. We are meant to be an or l'goyim. We're meant to be a light to the nations, which is a machlokas rishon, what that means exactly. But at the very least, it means to represent in a way how we uphold ourselves, how we behave, how we walk in the street, whether we throw garbage on the floor, whoever was there the other day, but what the definition of Chil Hashem means, right? And understanding about the fact that we are God's people and that non-Jews will often even point that out and say like, aren't you God's people? How could you behave like that? They know the truth. The question is, do we know the truth? Scary concept. You understand that the entire world loves the Jewish people. Some love us to death, but the entire world loves the Jewish people. There's no one that's like, Jews, you have a feeling it's either here or here. but it is heavy. It's crazy. The Amish, I don't know what that is, or I do, or like, they'll never see this though. so the Amish people, they go ahead and like, I love them, I hate them, I don't know, whatever. Some people love them, some people hate them, whatever. The Jews, you either love them or you hate them. It's not like, it's like we're like extreme. What's going on over there? There's something going on over here. There's something very special. There's something very unique. And the question is, do we recognize that ourselves? I read a story, beautiful, like amazing story. There was I read this in, I think, I don't remember exactly. I think I read this in Zera Shimshon, but not the Sefer Zera Shimshon, the translation of the Zera Shimshon, but not the current translation of Zera Shimshon, which is the actual translation, but rather the partial translation of Zera Shimshon that came out from Art Scroll that I think Nachman Seltzer wrote on and wrote a bunch of stories in. In that book, I think, I read the following story. There was a Jew that was learning in a yeshiva called the Mir Yeshiva. And this boy, it's a small yeshiva, if you don't know, it's a small little yeshiva like by Geula area. I think they have like 9,000 students. So there was this boy Steigen over there. And this boy, these serious yeshiva achim, went outside for a little break after hours and hours and hours of sleeping and a few minutes of studying. And he needs to get a little coffee or whatever it is. So he steps outside, and as he steps outside, he's approached by a black man. Okay. He's approached by a black man, comes over to him, and he says to him, hello. So he said back, hello. I am from Nigeria. I want to be Jewish. What do I do? And he said, huh? Because obviously he's steiging still. His head's in the sugya. And he was like, what is happening here? And he's like, yes, I'm from Nigeria. I want to be Jewish. This boy's from like Woodmere. Like sitting over there, like looking like, oh, what do you do? He's like, yeah, I want to convert. And he says to him, he starts talking, and then he tells to him about the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, and he pushes him up, but he doesn't push him off, but he pushes him off, and the guy pushes himself off. And he says to him, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Why would you want to be Jewish? He says, no, because it's the chosen people. He didn't get it because we chose him, whatever. But you're the children of God. That he got right. That's Why wouldn't I want to be Jewish? And he's right. Why wouldn't you want to be Jewish? The reason, by the way, I'll answer it for those who want to answer, is because of a traumatic experience that you had through your upbringing in Judaism. That's why you wouldn't want to be Jewish. It's coming from one of two directions, either pain or a lack of understanding the pleasure. It's coming from, I went through a painful experience within the world of Judaism. I made an association. I said, that's Judaism. And therefore, I don't like Judaism, even though it's not Judaism. That was a person or a group of people that were not doing Jewish stuff. Okay, that's always one thing. Or the opposite, not appreciating the diamond, right? How many times? 88 times, right? You're not appreciating the diamond of what it is. So I don't want to be Jewish because of the pain I had with Judaism. Judaism is painful. Or I don't want to be Jewish because I don't understand and appreciate what the value is. But if you understood that pain is into Judaism, it's just a person, which doesn't wrong, and you understand what the appreciation of Judaism, of course you want to be Jewish. It's so pashut. It's like, why wouldn't you want to be Jewish? Because there are restrictions. There are restrictions in amusement parks also. But you go to them because you find them amusing. And you're not bothered by it because you appreciate what it is. Even though there's rules and regulations there. Did we speak about that with the torso? A person goes to I really do. I am starting to feel bad for people that don't have ADD. I understand it's hard because I'm in the middle of a story. And some of you that don't have ADD, you forgot the story already. You're like, what are we talking about here, right? And many forgot we're even talking about Judaism. Like what are we talking? And don't think I forgot about the vegetarianism. We're coming back, right? But a lot of them forgot about that other. I feel bad. I do. I feel a little bit bad. I used to not feel bad. I didn't even think about it. But now I'm thinking about it. I feel a little bad. Now, you don't want to know how crazy my ADD is? I don't even remember what I was up to a minute ago. What was I saying? My offspring. Music Mark, thank you. All right. Oh, so now I see who has ADD. Yeah, how are you, right? Yeah, I don't either. Okay, so now listen to the story. A person goes to an amusement park and they want to go on the roller coaster. So they get there, and as they walk up to it, there's like a sign, and it has like, it's you must be this tall, right? And you can't be, too short. So you walk up to it. I'm going to make it work here, right? So you walk in, and also as you stand there, there's like a thing just to see if your stomach, how far out it goes. So you stand in there, just to make sure that like, we got a good shot of this, right? To see what's going on. All right, yeah. The camera takes off weight, okay? Okay, so now, the guy goes in, and he's like, whoa, wait a second, what? You have to be this tall, this short, like what? This is an amusement park. What do you like putting these rules? This is ridiculous. So the person goes, they're like, the things are here, they're like, I'm going, and they walk in. And they sit down, the thing, it's a roller coaster, so they have the thing that, that they put down. You have to you're sitting there like, oh, this is so nice. And you put it there, and then they come by, oh my gosh, like sitting like this. And then what happens, you're sitting there, and then the guy gets to the thing, on the loudspeaker. They're like, you're like, bro, I'm sorry, sir. I think your speakers are messed up. I didn't hear you. So the guy comes over and he says, oh, it wasn't the speaker system. Okay. All right, so they go and they say, keep your hands and legs inside at all time. If you have long hair, make sure that you bring it really tight, put it together. If your payas is out, put it back in. Right, go on, thing. You're wearing a necklace, that's right thing. Take off the necklace, no earrings, no things, no. You're like, this is just absurd. This is just absurd. I'm here to have a good time, and they give me all these rules. This is absolutely absurd. Why would I go with all these rules? I want to go on the roller coaster. You know what? No. I'm not putting my arms and legs on the side. I'm keeping my necklace on. I'm keeping my hair out, and this is how I'm going to sit. Like that. I'm going to sit like that. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not done. I'm going to, this is it. You know what? Maybe I'll even switch in the middle and do that, okay? But I'm not going to do it. This thing, okay? I'll do this thing. I can do whatever I want. You ain't going to tell me that you're going to have a good time over here. And that person goes, and they say, I'm not even putting this thing down. Why would I put this? What is this? I'm uncomfortable. I'm here for comfortability and amusement. The roller coaster goes. What's coming back? If the guy doesn't put the thing down, what's coming back? The roller coaster. That's it, just the roller coaster. Whatever, the person's like, okay, I get it. But he's like this. He's like that. He's doing like this. Yeah? It's like the 70s. Like, doing the thing. They're on the disco. They're going like that. What's coming back? Whatever's stuck in that just the torso. That's all that's coming back. Nobody does that. You know why? Because they understand and they appreciate. There's value in the roller coaster. It's going to be a great time. And there's certain things that you have to do in order to really maximize what that's all about. Right? So a person goes in and put that in it, then they're going to go, they're going to enjoy it. But if you don't understand the value of it, then you're right. Why would you sit down in a car and just go like this and keep your arms and legs in? It's just weird. Can you imagine going to an amusement park where they go, keep your arms and legs in at all time, and then they go, and they go, we now begin. And you just sit there for 4 minutes, and they go, how was that, everyone? Get out. Because that's what we look at Judaism sometimes. Like, I'm going to do all these things, have all these restrictions, and I'm not even getting anything out of it. But if you realize you are getting something out of it, when When are you going to get something out of it? This guy's Jewish. We don't have to get into the Orla thing again. I say now. When are you going to see it? The answer is even in this world, but that's another class that we spoke about. Okay, maybe think it's the next world, which again is also part of our Jewish upbringing trauma that we weren't taught properly. Fine, but here's the deal. Back into the story. The Nigerian. Oh, the Nigerian. Oh, yeah. This guy left. He left because the guy, the Yeshiva guy, was telling him the story. He's like, "Forget it. I don't want Jewish." Right? And he goes and he leaves. And he goes and he says, "Hey, wait! Before you go, you want some gefilte fish?" Anyway, so this guy says, "I want to be Jewish." So he says, no, you don't want to be Jewish. Yeah, I do. No, you don't. Why would you want that? And it's true. It's better for somebody who's not Jewish. It's better for you not to convert unless you're going to keep everything. If you're going to convert and not keep everything, you just messed yourself over. Because your neshama, I'm not getting to the machlokas, your neshama has a certain amount that has to do. That's called Shesheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, 7 no-kad laws. A Jewish neshama requires 613. When it comes to owning a moving vehicle, you can own a bicycle or you can own a car. If you're not so careful with the bicycle, okay, it's not that much you have to be fixing. Keep the chain on, keep it lubricated, making sure they, tighten the gear on the handlebars. There's a few things you got to do. And if you're not so careful, you get back on, whatever it is. What happens with a car? There's a lot more than just 7 things that are going on. There's a ton of stuff. If you don't take care of that, the destruction of the car is much worse than the destruction of the bike. You want to make sure you're going to maximize. Do not convert to Judaism and then not follow it. That's just silly. If you're born Jewish, make sure you're doing everything. And slowly but surely, depends on where you are in your life, one thing at a time, slowly but steadily wins the rest. I can't do everything at once. I'm overwhelmed. Okay, we got the overwhelmed. We discussed that a few days ago, right? However, wherever, let's understand as follows. Don't convert. But if you're going to convert, you got to do it all. I thought Judaism's not everything. Okay, you got to do it all. So the guy has a conversation. And this black man from Nigeria turns to him and says, okay, I will do the 7 mitzvot. Right? He teaches them what he teaches them what they are. And then he goes ahead and he says to him, but before I go, bless me. Now, I don't know what you know. Just picture standing outside the Mir Yeshiva. There's people coming in, coming out. And this guy's standing there with his coffee. He's whatever. And he's just watching this guy. He's like, bless me. He lied down on the floor. Full prostration, and he said, bless me. The guy's like, what? Like, what am I supposed to do now? To this non-Jew, to this guy, which means they're non-Jew, again, for all you emotionally challenged, for this non-Jew, I get to be blessed by a Jew? Huh? For this Jew, he's like, boss. He's like, what? Like, what's going on here? He goes, bless me. And he lies down on the floor. He just lies full prostration, like he was on the roller coaster. He lies down. And he says to him, by the powers vested in me, by Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. It's like hard to translate. You are now blessed. Follow the 7 laws. Connect with the Lord. And be blessed through your life of blessingness with lots of blessings, of blessing. And let us say, Kong, Amen. So the man says, Kong, Amen. And then the guy goes, oh, wait, before I go. He takes out an envelope. He's got a wad of cash. He had money. He takes out an envelope. You have to know who you're talking to. He takes out was the word envelope the confusing word? He takes out an email. And he takes out a lot of dollars, which now are worth a lot less in shekel. A lot less. And he goes and he says to the guy, here, for you. And the guy said back, Simba. Anyway, he says, what do you mean for me? He goes, I collected this money to give to, I was going to be Jewish, and I was going to give this to charity. And he said, do you have any more money on you? And he said, no. All you Jews are thinking one thing, But he was thinking of something different. He goes, so how are you going to get around in this country with no money? He goes, I don't know. He said, keep money for yourself. You want to give a little, you can give a little. Give 10%. He goes, oh, maser. Give like 10%, give a little. And the guy gives a little bit more, and he says, take care of it. And the guy walks away like, cannot believe how he just got blessed by a Jew. How many Jews appreciate who they are? How special, how unique, how inner circle, how incredible, VIP. But if you're part, says God, of my inner circle, and you disrespect me, that's a lot worse than if somebody in the street goes and disrespects. You're my child. You're an Eved of the Melech. You're one of my Mesharsim. Can you say that? How you say Mesharsim? What? Servants, helpers. You're one of my helpers. And that's going to be the biggest disrespect they could have. So in a nutshell, to answer the question, the answer is, what does it mean, chosen people? Chosen island, I liked your ribs. I was a big fan of the ribs. I think it was like $26 or something. And it wasn't like on the bone, it was like off the bone. I'm a fan of that. If we could work that out, like maybe when I come. And again, fuego, happy birthday! And let's talk about it. If you lower the music a little, I'm getting old. I'll get the earplugs maybe bleeding when I come. And let's work something out. Once we're on this, reserve cut. If I come, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty intense. In Manhattan, it's a whole zach. Weiter. So now we have, what does it mean, the chosen people? It means that we chose God, therefore God chose us. And it wasn't just Avram Avinu, but it went down until finally we got to Naaseh v'Nishma. The entire Jewish people accepted God. Naaseh v'Nishma amru ke'echad, not just a story, a tale that's been told, fable, a myth, or a legend of old, not someone's fantasy, theory, or whim. It's what I believe. It's what he believes. It's what I believe. I mean. So what happens is that the entire Jewish people, the Lord Almighty says, you want my book? We like, yeah. Naaseh v'Nishma, we're in. We want your book. We will do, and then we will hear. Now, this is a quasi full stop because I just opened myself into another topic. Did that address the question in any way, shape, or form?
Somewhat.
Which part is lacking?
This issue of chosenness is bringing on contempt in the world, and I'd like to personally reframe it.
I'm listening.
So that's why I'm asking you.
You want me to reframe it?
Sure.
I think that the last 37 minutes, 37? Where am I holding? Well, how much? No, what does it say? What does it say? How much? 35 and 30?
35 minutes, 35 seconds.
Okay, not so bad. 37. But really, it's less because of the question. I believe we just did reframe it. And the reframe would be, if a non-Jew would come to me and say, what are the Jewish people? I would say, the Jewish people are in the inner circle of God. If you'd like to be part of it, you're welcome to. If not, that's your call as well. I think the good Lord is a tremendous responsibility that I have now by carrying on me this concept. And I hope that I'll be able to uphold these ideas and go ahead and to give over to you in a way that you will see that I am worthy of being what's called an Eved of the Melech, a servant of the Lord. Full stop. Was that a good reformation? We have been reframed. All right. And I do want to go out one day in Texas and get some serious steak. And then bring it home to your smoker. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be great. Are you together?
Yeah.
Are you also vegetarian?
Yes.
Okay.
And anyone who would like to discuss vegetarianism afterwards,
Ladies and gentlemen, it seems like it's contagious. Be very careful. Okay, so that's that. Now I want to just shift onto, because of the fact that I shifted myself onto, I'd like to shift onto this concept of Naaseh v'Nishma. Of what does Naaseh v'Nishma mean? After a short message from our sponsor. Yes.
I just wanted to say one thing. I've had quite a lot of non-Jewish workers in the last 8 years. Before that, I don't think we actually.
You mean working for you?
I have run a company.
Well, look at you. Go ahead, look. Yeah.
So what I realized, and I was really surprised over the years, is how they know how special we are. Our seeing it in real.
Wow.
They just really, and they respect.
Let's be clear, there's the other side also.
But then that jazz is
But that other side is, that's what I mentioned before, that other side is the extreme other side. Because there's an intensity over there. Right. Right. Really, it's not even their fault, because you have to understand, Aish HaTorah Yaakov is a real thing. It's a chok. Listen, Ben Shapiro. Let's understand something. Benjamina. Aunt Jemima. Listen, Ben's aunt. Aunt Jemima, let's understand. Again, what I'm pointing out is fault, not fault. The reality of it is really coming from God himself. The concept of being hated, reframing, not reframing, not going to change anything. I did it for you because you look like a nice guy, and I'm scared of vegetarians. But another thing is like this. It doesn't matter how we frame it. Makes no difference. The Jewish people are going to be hated. That is a chok, a law, known as Aish HaTorah Yaakov. Why would it be that would be the case? It actually is put in place as a safeguard. If we wouldn't be hated, we wouldn't exist anymore. Over time, we get to see a lot of assimilation that occurs. And if the assimilation continued at the rate that it is now, it would have been gone a long time ago. If we don't recognize who we are, then the non-Jews remind us who we are. That's called Holocaust, that's called October 7th, that's called anything that happened to the Jewish people is talking about this is a wake-up call. Now, that already becomes a very emotional discussion. How could you say that? Who do you think you are? How dare you? And it's just going to be a stalemate, right? So you either agree or disagree. I'm fine with either one. But the point is that we're going to be reminded, as the Chosenness Rebbe said, that if the Jews don't make Kiddush, then the Goyim will make Havdalah. If we are not sanctifying God's name, then they will separate it and get rid of all of us. We have to be sanctifying God's name. But even when we are, although we have moments of quiet, and historically, in terms of Jewish history, this is unprecedented, where we are currently living in, but I think we're all seeing it's over. It's over. We hit the end. Anti-Semitism always existed, always. Even during the good times, it existed. But now we're going back to, you could show a newspaper today and show a newspaper 1938. It'll be the same title. It'll be the same headlines. That's crazy. That didn't happen 15 years ago. Didn't happen 20 years ago. Didn't happen 50 years ago. Didn't happen 100 years ago. Didn't happen 200 years ago. In America, America has been in a crazy situation over the last couple hundred years. That's never happened in Jewish history. Unprecedented. But even so, it was under the surface, and when something comes up, boom, it gets hit hard. Understand that the only thing we're supposed to be doing is living a life where we are sanctifying God's name, not in order that they should like us or not like us, but rather because that is our job as a Jew. And if they like me or don't like me, to be frank, which is an unusual thing because I'm not, but to be Gavriel, is that it doesn't make a difference. I don't really care. You like me, you don't like me, it doesn't change anything. I had a conversation with someone before. It does. I'm a human, and I don't like not being not liked, but it's not something that's going to change the way I'm going to live my life. It is openly and publicly, I will hide from you if you're coming to kill me. And I was like, no, we're the IDF, we fight. It's like, I don't care how many IDFs you have and what you have, you can still have on October 7th. The bottom line is, if God wants something to happen, it's going to happen. We still have to be living a life accordingly, making sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So reframing is not going to change anything. The only thing that we should be reframing is by doing the right thing. That's what we should be doing. At the end of the day, if someone goes and says, I don't like the way whatever it is, it's like, okay, like even if I do that, you're not going to like me. So it's not really going to change anything, right? It's like, okay, that's too personal. That would have been great if I would have said that. It's too much though. It's too, I'll say it. I'm not going to say it. It's too, fine. So what do I mean by this concept of moving on to Nasa v'Nishma? What's Nasa v'Nishma? So misunderstood, like the idea of chosen people, it's just misunderstood. And when I say misunderstood, I want to be clear. Everything I'm saying now is for religious Jews. Okay, even if you're not religious, but I'm saying in the religious world, it's misunderstood. Nasa v'Nishma is basically how I hear people coming and asking about it. Is like, we are stupid. You just do. You don't know anything, just do. And that's what the Jews are. Good Shabbos. Or maybe it means something very different. What's Nasa v'Nishma? The literal words means Nasa, yeah, we will do. V'Nishma, we will hear. But do you think it means we will do and we will hear completely blind? That we don't know anything? And it's out of the blue? Who did we say Na'aseh v'nishma to? Who do we say it to? We said to the Lord Almighty. Had we had any interaction with the Lord Almighty before we said those words? Yes or no? We had Yetzias Mitzrayim, Exodus of Egypt. Did we have any other interaction? Before the Jewish people left Egypt, had they heard of God? What? Before the Makos, had they heard of God? Of course they did. When Hashem said Moshe, he said, go tell them these words because they're waiting for redemption. They knew who God was. They knew full well who God was. And then they got to experience it. Boom. Pakod pakadati. They knew this. Moshe wasn't supposed to. There's so much. Okay. Focus. I got this. There's so much I want to tell you now. But it's a totally different class. They knew who God was. And then they went through. They don't ever think what you're singing. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense, right? Blood and frogs and lice. Yay. Blood and frogs and lice. Lice. It's a funny thing that we're singing that. It's just like, anyway. We saw crazy stuff. We're talking about for how long did that go on for about? How long were the Makkos? A year? 11 months? Oh, a year, you think? 11 months? Okay, Alex. A while. Machlokas again. Right? They insist, right? It went on for what it went on for. Approximately a year. And they saw crazy things. We're talking about miracles. It's no longer, they didn't sing in Egypt different songs. There's some places like, I believe in miracle. In Egypt, they're like, I believe in miracles. Right? They're like, wonder where you come from. You Jewish thing. Right? They stand there. They feel so connected. They saw it. Whew. Really, to build it up yourself. Unfortunately, there are many that don't really learn through what the Makkos were. By the way, it's the parashas. It's good to look into it. What were the Makkos? What was Dam? Where was the Dam? Anywhere where there was water. Did you understand? Anywhere there's water. Eitzim ubavonim. There was water, it's Dam. It's blood. It's crazy. It's a crazy, crazy thing. Unbelievable. The blood was, and then it turned to water. Everyone did that project in school, like half the cup red, half the cup blue, right? And you give your brother the red one. Right? I actually just thought about that now. I never did that, but I think I'm going to do that one day. I think I'm going to bring my brother, I'm going to get a cup to put in the middle, put juice on one and water in the other. I'm like, let's drink. See who you really are. I told you you're adopted. Okay, anyway, he's the Bechor, or is he? He's still alive. Right, but we find that what were the plagues? They saw crazy stuff, and after seeing crazy stuff, then they get an opportunity, a oportunidad of a lifetime. You guys want my Torah? We're like, hold on 1 second. Is this God speaking? You're asking me, do I want a relationship with you? Yes. I don't even know what the offer is. I'm in. You just weren't stupid. It wasn't just like, I don't even know what I'm doing over here. It's, I know who God is. I've experienced God. I learned about God. That's amazing. Okay, so I don't know what he's going to ask me to do like this, to do like that. Who cares? I know who God is. I trust God. I understand he runs the whole world. He's involved in everything. Of course I want part of that. That's Na'aseh v'nishma. Na'aseh v'nishma isn't to just jump in blindly. I jump in knowing a tremendous amount. I just don't know the details of what you're going to ask of me. But if there's someone that you trust and someone that you understand has your best interests, then it doesn't really, the details are irrelevant. Okay, as human beings, and we like to understand them, Tamei mitzvos gives the time and the taste and the reason, understanding, blah, and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, which brings us to even modern day. I do mitzvos. I don't understand why I'm doing a mitzvah. Why am I doing a mitzvah? Why would I do it? And why would I put on tefillin? Ladies? So why would I do that? Well, Rashi's daughters. Oh my gosh. Ah. There was one time someone that once, maybe, and therefore we should all do it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So why put it on? Why put on tefillin? I don't understand the reason. Who cares what the reason is? God's telling you to do it. You don't trust God? No. Okay, trauma, therapy, look at that. But God's telling you. Trump? Oh, trust. Oh.
When you love someone, don't you want to just do whatever you want?
Yeah, well, okay, now you get into, right, even more. It's like, that's also coming from trust. Right? The idea of love is coming from also, because if you didn't trust it, you'd have a hard time with that love. I trust you, I know you love me, I love you, and you want to do that. Of course you're doing it for me, it's in my best interest. I don't fully understand, like, how does tefillin help me? The answer is, it does. But tell me first. Oh, Nishma v'naseh. Why Nishma v'naseh? Oh, because I really don't trust you. Okay, I get it. That makes sense. That's unfortunate. But once understands what the truth is, you know the emes, you know what it means. You understand what it is, a God, and you get that, and you get clarity in that, which maybe we're lacking. And once you have that, it doesn't matter why we do mitzvahs. The reason we do it is because I trust that God says this is the absolute best thing for me. Why cover my hair when I get married? It's just that's you heard it. Oh gosh, off the derech. It's like those are the ultra orthodox off the derech. You know, it's just that's you heard it. And it's also a chiyuv. So that's your chiyuv. It's still a chiyuv. No, the Ravs. I knew it. There was a woman once that didn't. Rashi's daughters. Say, shkoyach. You still have to do it. But why put on tefillin every day? But why daven? But why Shabbos? I think a day of rest is easier if I'm playing PlayStation while driving. I think that's dangerous. It's nice, which I don't care what you think. Of course I do. Every one of you is so special and unique in the inner circle of God. But who cares? The bottom line is, it is what it is. So figure out what it is and do what it is. Oh, that's hard? Okay, I'll give you reasons. God gives us reasons. And he gives us reasons. They're known as tamei mitzvos. Tamei mitzvos means reasons, which also means a taste. I'll give you a taste. But guess what? There's always going to be mitzvos that are called chukim. Like Esav Sodas Yaakov. There's always going to be chukim. There's going to be mitzvos you don't know the reason for. And you know why? So that you could actually show that I'm doing this, God, because I trust you and I love you. Because if you did every mitzvah because you understood the reason, then you're not doing it for God, you're doing it for the reason. How do you know if you're doing any mitzvah for God? The only way you know you're doing a mitzvah for God is if you do it and you don't know the reason. If you do it because you know the reason and you're okay with it and you like it, then you did it because of that reason. You don't have to be Jewish to follow things you like. There are non-Jews that eat kosher, which is ironic because it's a chok. But they'll think they know the reason and they'll say like, well, because it's healthier, it's whatever they come up with, which is like they've never been in a Jewish home. It's healthier. Yeah. Kosher food is healthier. Crazy. Zusammen! Okay. Point is that many people go and they do it because of reasons. No, God, you know I'm doing this because I know that you know. And you are telling me as my manufacturer how I should go and live my life, which is going to give me the greatest ahorra, en esta misma cuarto, en el mundo aquí, también en el mundo venidero. You're the one who knows I'm going to have the greatest placer, the greatest pleasure, the greatest meaning and purpose. Felicidad con placer aquí. By doing this, I'm in. I don't get it, but I'm in. And everyone has their things they struggle with. Some struggle with Shabbos. Again, some struggle with like wool and linen. I'm not sure how that works, but people have things. Okay, you got to work that out. So we have, my friends, just to sum this up, is we are incredibly special, chosen people. We're going to be hated no matter what. We should represent properly, no matter what they think. Even if they are okay with us representing improperly, even if they love us, we should still be representing properly. And then we move on to Nasav and Nishma. Nasav and Nishma say, we're not stupid. We know what's going on. God is worth it. And then we get into the idea of tefillin or whatever other mitzvah it is. I don't have to understand it to know that it's worth it. And yes, it will help me if we do understand a little bit more. And with that, my friends, I yield my time. Have a great Shabbos. Bye-bye.